intense. It's gritty. It's hard.
And it appears to be the right ankle of Kyrie Irving.
Nets, of course, have had their share of injuries all season long.
We lost a great player during the game. It was a big adjustment tonight to play without him.
Giannis on the slam. Welcome to the playoffs. Both these teams getting after it.
That's typical playoff basketball, physical.
Oh, beautiful feed right through the wicket.
Love the way the guys play. We just got to keep competing.
Giannis up and over the top.
Middleton for three. Puts it in.
We're very happy, but we got to keep getting better. Hopefully we can go in Brooklyn and take one.
So what? Let's see. What a difference about 4 days can make.
That escalated quickly.
I mean, you go from the Nets dominating the first two games of their series with the Bucks, and we're talking about, and Woj is even talking about it. We'll have Woj on later on the show about how Mike Budenholzer's job could be on the line, and everybody's watching to see how the Bucks respond. Game 3 could have gone any way at that point, right? At any way, Game 3 could have gone. But then all of a sudden, Game 4. And the Bucks had a little bit of life, and you could see, like, okay, they're at home. They feel comfortable getting more and more into back to their game. And then Kyrie Irving's injury happens, and it's as if the Nets lost a lot of their spirit and, of course, a lot of talent. And the Bucks rolled from there, and now all of a sudden it's a best of 3. And the Bucks suddenly look like the team. Am I crazy to say, now, before we even get into the Kyrie injury, do the Bucks have momentum?
I don't necessarily know that because you got to come back to Brooklyn now. You shift back to Brooklyn, playing on the road is a little bit different than playing at home with full stadiums now.
Noticeably, yeah.
And I know that Brooklyn is down 2 men. Well, I don't even know if it's 2 men they're down because James Harden, I'm sure James Harden is getting the necessary treatment to get back into the fold. So
he's day to day. That's how they listed him, day to day.
But they are down a couple, and Milwaukee certainly didn't go away. They pushed the gas pedal all the way down to the floor. And you can see that it was very evident in Game 4 that they realized we got an opportunity here. Now that they're shorthanded, let's take advantage of it.
Alan, damn right they got momentum.
Okay.
They have momentum. You don't know when James Harden is coming back off that hamstring injury. I would assume James Harden will have to come back for Game 5. Especially if you see the way Kyrie Irving rolled that ankle. For anybody that plays sports or if you play basketball, look, this isn't like you come down and your ankle barely shifts over and it pops right back really quickly. Literally, all of his weight came down and his foot turned sideways. Like his whole body was on his ankle to the side. You just don't come back from that in a day or two. So with Kyrie Irving being out, James Harden with the hamstring injury that's kind of plagued him for the last couple of years of his career, with KD, even though KD's gifted scoring-wise, this is where KD and other guys are a little bit different, right? Like, when you think about KD, the most gifted scorer we've ever seen in the game. But they can facilitate so much more. They create points off their passing. Like, KD can pass, but that's not one of his super power strengths. So now, yes, if you're Giannis, or the way PJ Tucker, by the way, shout out to PJ Tucker, the 919-984 area code down in Raleigh, North Carolina. The way he's guarded him has been tremendous, man. Held him to 9 points, like on 25% shooting in that last game for him when he's the primary target defender. But with that kind of physicality, yes, there's the momentum is going in the Bucks' direction.
The great thing about the Kyrie injury, though, is that Dr. Johnson will tell you walking off on your own power. That says something. He didn't need someone to help him to the locker room. That's a long ways from the court to the locker room, okay?
He limped. He took it slow, but you're right.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's the initial shock, right? When the initial shock wears off, yeah, you wear a boot for protection and all those sort of things. To if there's a major swelling, to keep the swelling down. You do all those sort of things. But to be able to, I mean, I'm looking at it. That to me, all that is gingerly moving along.
Right.
And by the time he gets treatment and whatnot, Dr. Johnson will tell you, I think he'll be okay.
Dr. Johnson, I saw Klay Thompson walk off the court with a torn ACL. So I've seen guys walk off.
Yeah, but it was a different, but torn ACL, you knew it was a torn ACL based on how his knee buckled. This is not a broken ankle. This is not torn ligaments in an ankle. This is not that situation. at all. Dr. Johnson.
Dr. Johnson.
For everybody's who's wondering who Dr. Johnson is, that would be Keyshawn, MD.
And Keyshawn doesn't stay at a Holiday Inn Express because I asked him one time. He's like, "What's that? Why would I ever stay there?"
Well, yeah, no, not me. But still, as you mentioned, Jay, the effect on KD was noticeable in that game, although he wasn't really shooting the ball even before the injury very well. And PJ Tucker did a great job. But once it came down to just Kevin Durant, it became, okay, well, let's see your big 15. And the big 15 was not able to get it done. They didn't get to 100 points for the second straight game. First time all season, they didn't get to 100. Now again, on Kyrie, he did walk off the court, but he did leave in a walking boot on crutches. And the key here is there's 1 day off between games now, 5 and 6, only 1 day off between games. Here's Steve Nash, head coach of the Nets, on if Kyrie doesn't play, the impact it will have on KD.
I have no idea, what's going to happen with Kai in the coming days. We'll cross our fingers and hope that it's better than I don't know, better than what? Better than missing the next game. It is tricky with Kevin. We all got to pitch in. We all got to play together. We got to move the ball. And I thought tonight we got a little single-minded, looking for Kevin every time. Puts a little bit too much pressure on him. It makes us a little more predictable, I thought, which puts a lot of burden on him. So we got plenty of guys who have stepped up in absence this year and done very well. And I think we got to rely on each other to play a team game, move the ball. And, of course, we're looking for Kevin as much as we can, but within reason. Without confining ourselves and being predictable.
A lot of pressure now on Kevin Durant. Let me just get a couple of things in here real quick, Jay. First and foremost, again, Rachel Nichols reporting that the x-rays, though, on Kyrie's ankle were negative, so MRI, of course, is coming next. So, yes, Dr. Johnson was right. And the Nets this season, when only one of the big three play, 9-6. So still have a winning record, but winning by an average of 1.4 points per game. So Game 5 will not be easy, of course, and we wouldn't expect it to be in this series, although after the first two games, Jay, it did look like it might be easy.
I was going to say, according to Steve Nash, that was coach's talk. We have to find Kevin Durant within reason. No, you don't. You have to find Kevin Durant every damn time down the floor. And are you going to be predictable? Yes, you are going to be predictable. This is what you see when LeBron James didn't have AD or Dennis Schroeder wasn't there. Yeah, their offense becomes extremely predictable because the ball has to be in the hands of LeBron James to make a play. And that's going to be the same thing with Kevin Durant. Now, look, Game 5 is set up for a stage for KD to have a massive game. Mm-hmm. It's a massive moment for him in time to showcase how special of a talent he is. But it's going to be hard because everybody knows where the ball is going, Alan. You know where the ball is going.
But PJ Tucker knows where the ball is going. Can't you say that about every superstar in the league? I mean, Donovan Mitchell right now, before talk about injuries, before his injury, I mean, you knew Utah, he was getting the ball, he was getting buckets until he started blitzing him.
Not with Utah, because Utah doesn't play that style of basketball that Brooklyn does. ISO, top down, like James Harden, James Harden, KD, Kyrie. Utah moves the ball around a lot. I mean, Bogdanovich and Joe Ingles are shooting the heck out of the ball. Jordan Clarkson, 6th man of the year. It's a completely different continuity set. So I think you can say it with certain franchises. You can't say it with every franchise.
I think KD situation's a little different than most, right? Because the expectations are going to be extreme. It's going to be a lot of comparisons to other superstars that people seen struggle or not finish the deal by not having somebody else alongside of him. But I don't think he'll let that get to him. I don't know him well at all, but I've watched him enough that I think when you go back to Brooklyn, and this is a call that you have to answer, and everybody's watching you.
He usually does.
I think he will.
And it's up to the coaching, too, to make the adjustment. If you're down to 1, you got to get the most out of that.
But are they really down
That's
to
up to
1?
coaching.
Yes. Are they really down to 1?
Down to 1 star?
I mean, I know they're down to 1 star, but are they really down to 1 where the other guys won't all of a sudden rise to the occasion?
Guys like Joe Harris and others who have done it throughout the year who now have to step up. All right, and then there's Milwaukee. They got 34 points, 12 rebounds from Giannis Antetokounmpo. And Giannis's overnight delivery brought to you by USPS. Business is changing, and USPS is changing with it. Find out how at USPS.com/new routes. The United States Postal Service, prior to you. So things got a little more complicated for the Nets. And things are also complicated for one NFL franchise whose leaders, they just can't stop talking. That is next. KJZ, ESPN Radio, and ESPN2.
Spoke to a team source who said the Packers have engaged with Aaron Rodgers and his representatives, and they will continue to try to do so.
We want him back in the worst way. I know he knows that. We'll continue to work at it.